Welcome, baseball fans, to this division round bracket update. I realize that the New York and Minnesota series is already over. It was the first one to end. But the Houston-Tampa Bay series, just like the National League, is going 5 games and is playing now with Houston up 4-1 in Houston. When that game is over, then we can do a recap of the game. We can do an American League bracket update. But for tonight's purposes, last night the LA Dodgers versus Washington and the Atlanta versus St. Louis games. Those game fives concluded. We have victors, so we decided to go ahead and do a National League bracket update. And let's go ahead and get into it, shall we? So, quick recap here of the wildcard games. Now, originally, when I was going to do my predictions here, I said to myself, it's going to be a 1 home, 1 away wildcard win. But then I took a look at the history, and I noticed that it was very much a toss-up. You had just as many years where both home teams won versus both road teams versus back and forth. There was no real indicator, home or away, who was going to win. And fundamentally, I did call Washington correctly, although no one would have seen it took an 8th inning comeback to do it. In the American League, the Rays just showed more depth and more resilience, and in combination with the fact that when you have top-tier pitchers, why are they sitting on the bench the whole game? I felt that Bob Marvin misused his bullpen for that game, and it cost him, and we'll get into that with the LA Dodgers, because oh my goodness, is Dave Roberts taking so much heat over the use of his bullpen in the game 5 of the NLDS there. So I had predicted originally, I left all the predictions up here so you would see what I originally called. Because LA was such a powerhouse, they had home field advantage, I picked, and because it took such a late inning rally in Washington, I picked LA to win the division series there in 4 games. And I remember one of the comments I got when I first loaded the bracket on September 30th before the postseason began, that I do have a bit of a flaw in my bracket choices, because if you notice, I picked all the top tier teams, and fans rightfully so commented that you're going to have upsets, and oh my goodness, did we ever. Wow, my bracket is busted, and I am thrilled to death about it because it brought amazing baseball. In the division series here, it went 5 games. Washington pushed back, took care of business at home, went into LA, and both combination of wonderful job by Washington to mount the rally and get that grand slam and extra innings in game 5, but also a big stinker to the Dodgers for blowing it that monumentally. You bring in Kershaw, who's been absolutely horrible the postseason, and then you follow him up with other pitchers who just can't get the job done, leading to a 3-2 victory for the Washington Nationals. And because, the Washington Nationals move ahead to the American National League Division Series, where they will go ahead and face the winner of the Atlanta and St. Louis. Now, Atlanta and St. Louis, unlike all 4 of these division series, this was ultimately the tightest contest and the closest contest where you had late inning victories to give to split in Atlanta, then split in St. Louis, and it took Yadier Molina in game 4 to push to game 5. It was so close. It was such a nail biter. It was so exciting. Had you on the edge of your seat. You didn't know what to expect going into game 5, but you were expecting something huge. What was huge was a 10-run first, 13-run through 3 innings to give St. Louis a 13-1 absolute domination and victory in Atlanta. And now, because my icon here does not cover up Atlanta so well, I'm going to go ahead and just wipe out the word Atlanta here. And we will put the Cardinals in their rightful place as division series winners. Well done, St. Louis. Wonderful work. Now, you're going up against the Washington Nationals, a team for which, where's my marker here? Here we go. So my bracket is busted. I'm done here. I'm done here. I'm done here. I'll go ahead and pick a new champion for the pennant there in just a moment. So we've seen Washington, whether or not they're overusing the pitchers, whether or not they're using the pitchers in the right spot, I felt the fact that they were using a lot of their starters out of the bullpen really made me wonder about, do they really seriously distrust their own bullpen that badly that they had to bring Scherzer out of the bullpen, Strasburg out of the bullpen? I mean, yes, they're phenomenal pitchers. Yes, they got the job done. But where is the bullpen in all this? Besides being extremely well rested, or you just don't trust them or something? Meanwhile, you had Flaherty do a phenomenal job in Game 5, which means you know you won't be available Game 1. At the same time, you also got your rotation in Washington all screwed up using Strasburg, among others, in Game 5. Both of them used everything they had at their disposal to get there. So now they're here. I don't see necessarily one favoring the other significantly because of how much they had to use to get there. With the possible exception of the fact that Cardinals only had to use Flaherty for the majority of Game 5, so that allows them to use the Wainwright and the rest of their pitchers for a better setup in Games 1 and Game 2, and they get the home field advantage being the higher seed, because this is Wild Card 1, and that's seed 3. So, because the underdog managed to come back and take out Atlanta, and even more so, take out the juggernaut in the West, on paper, I think that the Cardinals have a better chance of winning the pennant because they're higher, not only just because they're higher seed, but they're also fresher. They didn't have to use as much to get to there this season, but have already been proven wrong. Boom, boom, and boom. 3 different times on the underdog. So, just for the sake of entertainment, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Washington to take the pennant here, not because I necessarily think that the Cardinals aren't a better team, because on paper they definitely show a lot more potential, but because the National League has been such an amazing story with how teams have come back, the grit, the late comebacks, the way they've managed to overcome the odds, I figure, okay, if I'm going to be wrong in the National League pennant, let's err on the side of the team that has shown all kinds of heart in coming back against Minnesota, coming back against LA. I think with how much grit and heart they've shown getting this far, a better team on paper does not guarantee a win. So even though the rotation is lined up better, the hitters are prepared for home field advantage there, I'm going to go ahead and pick Washington. And while both series went to 5 games, I could be inclined to go to a 7-game set between these two, but when it comes to championship series, league championship games, NLCS, ALCS, I find the most common scenario is 6 games. So I'm going to go with Washington in the same 6 I had picked the LA Dodgers to win in 6 over Atlanta originally. Again, I'm fully comfortable being absolutely wrong on this, and I would love to hear all your feedback and thoughts in the comment section below. Tell me how much better the Redbirds are than Washington. Please feel free, throw it at me here. And if you guys all think that the underdog is going to continue their miraculous season and find a way to come back against St. Louis, I want to hear all about that too. Please share with me. I love all the banter. I love the baseball talk. I would love to hear your opinion on my opinion, your thoughts on my thoughts. And if you just happen to be coming across this channel on YouTube, please hit like and subscribe. It greatly helps the channel. As I mentioned before, yes, we already know the winner of the New York and Minnesota game, and the Houston Rays versus Rays game is going on now in Houston. And there's so much joy to talk about in these series here. I'm looking forward to getting into that when the game ends, and I can do a post game or a bracket update depending on how late the game ends, and we can go from there. So let me know what you think about what I think, and I'm looking forward to hearing from all of you soon. Have a great night. Enjoy the ALDS Game 5, Tampa Bay Rays at Houston Astros. Not going to tell you who I think is better per se, because fundamentally you've got Garrett Cole, who's completely controlling this game right now. They're up 4-1. At the same time, the Rays have shown great resilience and have been a stronger road team. So there's definitely strengths and weaknesses in both games there, and we'll see how that goes. I'll go ahead and break that down for you should the game end early enough that I can do so. And I keep saying that because fundamentally, being on the East Coast, doing post-game reviews of games that end very late at night is a very difficult thing to do. I try to, but if it gets too late, I'm sorry. I'll try to get to it the following day if it's even still relevant. But with games going on every single day, it's always the new game that's of more interest. So, again, with Cole at home and Houston's feasting home field advantage, I would love to be surprised with the Rays late in the game, and we'll see how that goes. In the meantime, enjoy the game. Let me know what you think about the NLCS, what's going to happen, who's going to win that one. And congratulations to the Washington Nationals for taking out the Juggernauts in the West, and congratulations to Yadier Molina and the St. Louis Cardinals for hanging in there long enough to force a Game 5 and then showing utter domination over the Braves. Wonderful job. Well done. And to Brian McCann, who has officially announced retirement following the end of season, Game 5, I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. It's been a great 15 years, and I greatly admire you from afar. Let me know you. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please hit like and subscribe, and enjoy tonight's game.